Tara Sinclair, chief economist at the jobs website Indeed. You guys are dressed the same. I had to say that. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
What do you think of the jobs report? The markets liked it.
Yes, for once we had good jobs numbers and the market liked it. That's kind of a surprise after we were watching so carefully, thinking a good jobs number meant that the Fed was more likely to raise rates sooner. And a couple months ago, the market read that poorly. But now today, that's good news because we had the sense the Fed was going to raise rates unless the numbers were terrible. And so to have a little bit better than expected numbers along with an expected Fed rate, that makes the markets happy.
But okay, for number one, it was just a tiny bit better, first of all.
But it wasn't worse.
It wasn't worse. And we're celebrating the fact that they're going to raise rates.
Well,
I'm so confused.
We knew they were going to raise rates. And so seeing that all of the numbers in the employment report, the revisions to the last couple of months, the numbers for this month, everything was a little bit better than expected, is overall good news.
What do you think about the economy going into 2016? Do you feel good about the jobs?
I do feel good about where we're headed because I think that the Fed is really going to move in a very slow pace, and that's going to leave room for the labor market to continue to improve. I don't think we're all the way there yet. Janet Yellen doesn't think we're all the way there yet, but we have some more time and some more space to improve, and employers are out there posting jobs like crazy. There are many opportunities out there.
The unemployment rate at 5%. We had a good report out today as well. Companies seem to be relatively optimistic. The economy seems to be pretty good. What would they be waiting for?
Well, I think that there is still some area for improvement. First of all, GDP growth isn't at a rate we'd like to see. We would like to get back some of what we lost, whereas we're just back kind of on a track well below what we lost, but back on an improving path. But we've kind of accepted that this lower growth rate is where we're at.
One thing about the past few years in the United States, a lot of people are struggling with is, in all periods of history, when you've had big economic growth in the economy, inflation has gone up, right? Whether it's gas or toys or houses and rents, and yes, we do see that with housing and rents, but we really haven't seen a high rate of inflation over the past 5 years. Why is that?
Well, I think it is consistent with the slower rate of economic growth as well. I mean, we haven't had a big bounce back year at any point after the huge drop in 2007 through 2009. And so that then comes along with also lower inflation. But we're also looking at a different global economy at this point where we're seeing low inflation across the globe.
A lot of people are saying that the strong dollar, stronger it's been in a long time, that ultimately that would hurt exports. And it doesn't seem to have had an impact as of yet. Is that a concern?
It is a concern. I think that would be one of the primary concerns going into 2016 is how much is the dollar going to strengthen as the Fed moves, and what is that going to do to the export side of the U.S. economy? Luckily, we look at manufacturing employment. That held steady this past month, so that's a good sign. And we're seeing manufacturing job postings on Indeed really still quite strong. So I'm hopeful that the slow movement by the Fed is not going to push the dollar so strong that it really impacts our manufacturing sector.
Besides journalists, what other sectors of the economy are just skyrocketing with strong needs for jobs and not enough people? Because this is a serious question.
Right.
There are so many different sectors. I think there are like 60 or 70 subsectors in the economy. Which ones are showing great momentum?
I think the two that just consistently stand out, and we saw it in this employment report, we see it in terms of job postings, we see it in terms of BLS long-run projections, are healthcare and tech. And those are the two areas where there are lots of opportunities, but it takes a lot of education to get into those opportunities, and so that can be a trade-off.
All right, far too late for me, Tara. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for helping us break this